Ernest Willard Gibson, December 29, 1872 – June 20, 1940, was an American politician and lawyer from Vermont. He served as a United States Representative and Senator. Early life. Ernest W. Gibson was born in Londonderry, Vermont on December 29, 1872, and attended local schools. He was a graduate of Black River Academy, where his classmates included Calvin Coolidge. He graduated from Norwich University in 1894, and was a member of the Theta Chi fraternity. He received his Master of Arts degree from Norwich in 1896. He studied law with Eliza L. Waterman and James Loren Martin, attended the University of Michigan Law School, and was admitted to the bar in 1899. Start of career. Gibson was a high school principal in Chester from 1894 until 1898. He served as a Chester village trustee from 1895 to 1898. He was a trustee of Norwich University from 1899 to 1909 and again from 1919 to 1935, and served as vice president of the Board of Trustees. Gibson received an honorary LL.D. from Norwich in 1926. A Republican. After becoming an attorney, he practiced in Brattleboro, where he also served as the Windham County Register of Probate and Deputy Clerk of Vermont's United States District Court. From 1904 to 1911, he was a lecturer on constitutional law at Norwich University. In 1906, he was elected to the Vermont House of Representatives. In 1908, he was elected to the Vermont State Senate, and served as president pro tempore. From 1906 to 1910, Gibson served as Brattleboro's municipal court judge. In 1910, he ran unsuccessfully for the Republican nomination for lieutenant governor. Gibson became a leader of the progressive movement in Vermont, which ultimately led to creation of a recognized faction within the Vermont Republican Party, the Aiken-Gibson wing. The Aiken-Gibson wing was more liberal than the party establishment, which had been led for years by conservative business interests including the Smith family of St. Albans, the Fairbanks family of St. Donsbury, and the Proctor family of Proctor. Despite his progressive views, Gibson remained loyal to the Republicans and worked to keep Vermonters with similar views in the party. To that end, in 1912 he was a delegate to the Republican National Convention. Gibson served as Windham County State's Attorney from 1919 until 1921, and was Secretary of Civil and Military Affairs, Chief Assistant to Governor James Harkness in 1921. Military service. From 1899 to 1908, Gibson served in the Vermont National Guard, enlisting as a private. He was commissioned in 1901. From 1906 to 1908, he served on the staff of Governor Fletcher D. Proctor as a colonel. He served again from 1915 to 1923, joining the 1st Vermont Infantry Regiment as a captain. He served in the Pancho Villa expedition in 1915 and 1916. Gibson also served in World War I as captain and commander of Company I, 1st Vermont Infantry, later federalized as the 57th Pioneer Infantry Regiment. Gibson served at Camp Bartlett, Camp Greene, and Camp Wadsworth, South Carolina before departing for France in September 1918. The 57th Pioneer Infantry provided replacement troops for the 83rd Division, with Gibson and a handful of soldiers left to reorganize the regiment and prepare it for a scheduled for deployment to the front lines. The armistice occurred before the unit moved, and Gibson returned to the United States. At the end of the war he was stationed at Camp Devens, where he received his discharge in March 1919. Gibson remained in the National Guard and retired as a colonel upon winning election to Congress, United States Representative. In November 1923, Gibson was elected to the United States House of Representatives, 68th United States Congress, filling the vacancy caused when Porter H. Dale resigned Vermont's 2nd District seat to become a United States Senator. He was re-elected to the 69th and the 4 succeeding Congresses, serving from November 6, 1923 until his resignation on October 19, 1933. Vermont lost a House district as a result of the 1930 census, and in 1932 Gibson was elected as Vermont's at-large congressman, defeating Loren R. Pierce in the primary, and going on to win the general election. Governor John E. Weeks had run for the 1st district seat in 1930, and indicated that if elected it would be the capstone of his career and he would not run in 1932, thus avoiding the possibility that 2 incumbents would run against each other for the at-large seat. During his House tenure, Gibson was chairman of the Committee on Expenditures in the Department of the Treasury, 69th Congress, and the Committee on Territories, 71st Congress, United States Senate. In November 1933, Gibson was appointed to the United States Senate, filling the vacancy created by the death of Porter H. Dale. He was elected in 1934 to complete Dale's term, and elected to a full term in 1938. Gibson served in the Senate from November 21, 1933 until his death on June 20, 1940. He died in Washington, D.C., and is interred in Morningside Cemetery in Brattleboro. Family. Gibson married Grace Fullerton Hadley on November 25, 1896. They had 4 children. Frank Hadley Gibson, 1899–1922. Ernest William Gibson, Jr., 1901–1969. Doris Gibson, 1903–1947. And Preston Fullerton Gibson, 1908–1955. Ernest W. Gibson, Jr. succeeded his father temporarily in the Senate and later served as governor of Vermont and judge of the United States District Court for the District of Vermont. The younger Ernest Gibson's children included Ernest W. Gibson III, an Associate Justice of the Vermont Supreme Court. Preston F. Gibson was a lawyer who was active in Republican politics and served as judge of Brattleboro's Municipal Court. See also, List of United States Congress members who died in office, 1900–49. Biographical Directory of the United States Congress. Gibson, Ernest Willard, 1872–1940. The Political Graveyard. Gibson, Ernest Willard, 1872–1940. GovTrack. Us. Sen. Ernest Gibson, Ernest Willard Gibson, Sr. at Finder Grave. Kemal American Monument dedication in 1937. www.abmc.gov. Arlington, VA. American Battle Monuments Commission, 1937. Retrieved June 25, 2017. Gibson gave the dedicatory address. He can be seen at the 49-second mark seated third from the left in the foreground.